Hello, welcome back to, let's say, a new game for Cape Gemini game aptitude section. Now, this game is called inductive logical reasoning. Though I would not say that this is something which the student have not seen before. Let's say when the student is preparing for recruitment exam of other companies and there is a section called non-verbal reasoning. So this is moreover that section only, but with a slight difference. Okay. So as and when we are going to practice questions on it, that slight difference I'll elaborate. Okay. So let's get started. Okay, so the questions would moreover mean would be simple. There would be a kind of an instruction given. Please, as in if you read it here, please mark the object that does not fit the rule. Okay, so what do we do in such questions? A kind of a pattern is going to be followed and you need to find out the option which is not following that pattern. Okay. Once again, let me remind you, questions when you are seeing for the game aptitude section at times can appear, okay, these are very simple ones. But I am saying repeatedly that in Cape Gemini, it is going to be a 24-minute section and you'll get 3 minutes, you'll get 8 games and each game will have a time limit of 3 minutes. So 8 games into 3 minutes, that will make 24 minutes game aptitude section. Now for those 3 minutes, the questions for each particular game will start at a very basic level, and as and when you keep on answering them correctly, the level of difficulty is going to be increasing. So the more difficult questions you can answer, it is adaptive. The more difficult questions you can answer right will make your score more. Okay. So let's get started over here. So once again, let me read this kind of an inductive logical reasoning, they call it, this kind of, let's say, questions. So over here, if I read it, please mark the object that does not fit the rule. Okay, so some kind of a rule is being followed. Now, if I start observing from the left side, you see, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, the alphabets are written. And if you observe the second, okay, what is the difference? You can very well see over here for D, E, F in the first, it is written in reverse over here. So all other things, A, B, C remains same, G, H, I remains same, but D, E, F has been like reversed. Okay, so let's see what is the pattern being followed. I would like to emphasize over here that the trainers at times, what I have seen, students, they don't know what is the meaning of pattern. They just think, okay, like pattern is something which is going to be followed all along, as in all the nine, you can see the 9 steps over here, all the 9 steps should be following a pattern. What they do generally is they focus on, let's say, first two, and then they try to figure out a kind of a pattern, make a kind of a pattern on their own, and they start answering the question. But that's not the case. Please make them realize that the pattern has to be followed for all the figures over here. Okay. So let's say at the moment I happen to get this kind of a pattern ABC. It is like, okay, the second, you can say the row is being reversed. And if you look at the third one, a pattern is being followed. This time it is the third. Now, if it is the case, it should be the first one this time. Very well. That's perfectly going like this. If you observe here, okay, there is this time not all the alphabets are reversed. That's okay. That's not following the pattern now. If you happen to look at, let's say, the sixth figure, the pattern remains as such. Again, it is being followed. You can very well see. So only thing which they purposefully did and which you needed to figure out was that this block, all the alphabets were not reversed. So this is going to be the object which is not fitting the rule. So if I happen to look at it here, where is my answer? My answer is this one, which is the fifth one. Okay, so this is my going to be my right answer. Okay, let's look at this question. Okay, time and again, what I have seen for this one, though this is very simple, but if you give it in class, most of the students are going to go wrong because they think a lot. Sometimes thinking more is leading to overthinking over here, and which is at times because of which the students get this question wrong. So I'll go with the, let's say, student's mindset first. Okay, if I start, I need to figure out once again the object that does not fit the rule. Okay, at this point of time, I must again emphasize that, okay, when you are seeing this video, make it a point that you pause the video, try to do the question on your own in 30 seconds. Now, 30 seconds is very important. Yes, that's the challenge. Okay, so you need to do questions in let's say less amount of time. That's the typical challenge of game aptitude section. And don't be that worried. You will be able to do it. Okay, provided that you are watching all the videos and trying the questions. So what I mean is, whenever you see the question, pause the video, try to do it on your own in 30 seconds, and then match the answer with the video. Okay. So let's come back to this question. This is a triangle. Fine. This is a square. This is a five-sided pentagon. Then this is a hexagon. So, okay, if you go with this kind of a pattern making, like thinking, your thinking is such that, okay, this is a three-sided figure, then this is a four-sided, this is a five-sided, this is a six, but this is circle. So this is not having sides. And then there is an ellipse. So again, not having sides. And again, there is a four-sided figure. And then again, there is a three-sided figure. Later on, this is, I don't know, what is it? It's a part, you can say, of some closed figure. So students then generally pick a wrong answer for this question. So I'll tell you the right answer. Otherwise, the right answer, some of them will certainly get it, and you would have got the right answer. I believe the trainers would definitely get the right answers. The logic is very simple over here. You can see all of them otherwise are closed figures. They are closed figures. And this one is not a closed figure. So my answer is this C option. This is the one which is not fitting the rule. Okay. Let's go to the next question. So let's have a look at this one. This says once again, most of the students get it wrong on the exam. I'll tell you why. Let's say once they get this question, try to think in terms of, let's say, with the mindset of a student, they have to do it fast as well. So they start saying, okay, let's say, try to judge the pattern. So they'll say, okay, this is over here, and then it makes a transition, goes up here, and then there is a transition, it is going like this, and then from here it is going like this, from here it is going like this. So they're doing it fine. Okay, that's perfect. That is what the pattern is. But why at times they get it wrong is because this is not like a few steps, but you can see there are 9 steps eventually. And this is what the difference. I started the video by saying that this is similar to non-verbal reasoning for other recruitment exams as well. But there is a twist, there why it is different. That's what I was telling you before as well. The thing is, you can see for other exams at times there are not so many figures. So for so many figures, the pattern recognition becomes a slight problem. So what I'll say is, though I would again suggest that wherever you're seeing this video, pause it, do it on your own, and try to do it in 30 seconds and then only go for the solution. Okay, otherwise let's do it together as well. Okay, let me erase it first. And then I'm going to, let's say, choose a different color this time. Okay, so what is happening over here? You can very well see what I'll suggest is, and please make a note of it, because it can be used for other questions as well, this kind of a technique. Okay, so please connect them. Now if you connect them, what does it mean? Does it not make a pattern like M over here? And if this M has to be followed, you can see they are following this. So M is going to be over here. If this circle is over here, this pattern is going to continue. So where did the object, where is the object that does not fit the rule? It is simple. This is the sixth one. It should be over here and not here. Is it okay? That's perfectly fine, I guess. Now let's move ahead. Okay. Okay, this one, this is again, I would say students might get it right as well, but if you ask them to explain, that is where they falter with this kind of a question. Okay, so if I start observing, I believe this is very well to say this is the mirror image, so this is getting reversed. Or in other words, you can say it is getting like rotated with an angle of 180 degrees. That's fine. Again, it is getting reversed and it is rotating at an angle of 180 degrees. Uh, these two pair are not mirror images. These are mirror images. What about the ninth one? Object that does not fit the rule. Okay, so I have two observations over here. The students will may ask two things over here. First thing, uh, as it for the answer. So is it this ninth one? Okay, I get this. Okay, that they are not following a pattern because they are not going in like 180 degrees. But which one of them is wrong? And whether ninth also follows the pattern or not, I'm not sure at this point of time. So I have to think something else as well besides mirror image, as in what is the pattern, how they were moving ahead, that also has to be found out. Okay, so okay, let's say this is like mirror images is fine, these two are fine, this is a 180 degree, but what happens over here, if you observe this, this is from here, from this to this, the transition is, you would say, anti-clockwise. It is anti-clockwise by how much? By 45 degree, anti-clockwise 45 degree. So after pair of two, there is a transition of 45 degree anti-clockwise, and then there is a pair. Now if this thing has to be continued, then this should be like now again an anti-clockwise 45. Anti-clockwise 45 would have made, after this it should have been like this, which is not over here. So this is not following the pattern. Okay, and then this is fine over here. What about this? This is, if you have a look at this, for this it is again an anti-clockwise 45. So this was following the pattern. So where the pattern is missed is with the fifth one. Okay, so this is going to be my right answer for now. Okay, got it? So that's what I was telling you, like students might get them right as well, but when you ask them to prove why this is the answer, they get wrong many times. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So with this, we end this, let's say, part one of basic inductive logical reasoning questions. I am repeating what we observed and what is the kind of, how is it different. First of all, it is different from non-verbal reasoning question because let's say this pattern they give you is like many times like a 9-step pattern. So generally, it is like a 4 or 5 step which other exams give. So this is relatively the pattern recognition has to be, you have to do it for more number of times. Okay, so this is where things get a little difficult. Other thing I am just repeating, as in like you have to do it fast. Some questions are going to be simple, but for 3 minutes the questions are going to be adaptive, and when it keeps coming to you, that's where our students say, okay, they got a few of them right, but then it kept coming. So practice, and practice is the key. And the first thing is why all these video lectures are important, because I'm trying to tell you kind of games which come on Keep Gemini. So that's very important. So end of this part one. So part two will discuss more questions, probably more difficult ones. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video.